Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to this very important webinar organized by the National Agricultural Seed Council in partnership with the Collaborative Seed Program partners. Today we'll be looking at the Plant Variety Protection Act and its potential for agricultural transformation in Nigeria. My name is Ekumo Jogu. I work for National Agricultural Seed Council, and I'm also the topic lead for sector governance under the Collaborative Seed Project. I also foster agricultural development programs and seed sector transformation program. And today I will be your host. A few housekeeping rules. Your cameras and your microphones are enabled for just the speakers and the panelists. For attendees, you do well to make use of the chat feature. This webinar recording will be made available to all participants after the event. So you're welcome. It promises to be a very important and interesting webinar. So do well to put your questions and your comments on the chat box, and it will be attended to accordingly. Once again, you are welcome. So James, can you run through the webinar objectives today? Thank you. Today, we are privileged to be establishing the national seed sector, the seed platform for Nigeria. And the platform, it's a forum where all industry actors will come together, review, discuss, elaborate activities linked to the implementation of the National Seed Roadmap, which is a document that gives us direction for the seed sector in Nigeria. And all of this is towards the transformation of the Nigerian seed sector. And the webinar will be having regular meetings. We'll have quarterly meetings each year for the next 3 years. 3 of these meetings will be virtual and 1 will be a physical meeting. And for 2021, a physical meeting is being organized alongside the National Agricultural Seed Council, Seed Connect Africa Conference and Expo. And it will be coming up on the 29th to 30th November. You do well to register because that's another opportunity for us to interact. And these meetings will focus on topics that will contribute to the implementation of the National Seed Roadmap for Nigeria, the document that gives us direction. James, the next slide, please. All right, so for today, what we are focusing and trying to achieve is that you will agree with me that the Plant Variety Protection Act has just been assented to by Mr. President. And the intention of this is to increase stable crop productivity for smallholder farmers through increased investment in crop variety development. And the essence of this is also to as an incentive for breeders, for the development of new varieties, which will contribute into stable progress in agriculture, horticulture, and forestry. Also, why are we meeting today? It's to put in place, to create more awareness of the progress we've made so far on the administration and implementation of the plant variety protection system in Nigeria. So that's the essence of what we'll be looking at achieving today in this webinar. So James, we'll be having an overview of what this collaborative seed program is, and then we'll be taking an opening remarks, and a few presentation will be made, and then there will be a panel session. So at this point in time, I will be inviting Mr. Chinedu Agbara of Sahel Consulting, who will be giving us the overview of the collaborative seed program. Chinedu is the manager of the collaborative seed program for the Nigerian side. So Chinedu, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ojogun.
Chinedu, are you with me?
Loud and clear, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, Thank you, Jogo, and welcome everyone to this today's webinar. My name is Chinedu Abara, as Jogo had mentioned, and I'm a senior manager at Sahel Consulting, and I also manage the collaborative seed program from the Nigerian side. So my job here is to make an introduction of what the collaborative seed program is and try to link it to the webinar we're having today. So thank you. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the collaborative seed program is a 4-year program. It's financed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands. Is embedded under the Nigeria-Netherlands Seed Partnership, which is a commitment of the Dutch government and the Nigerian government to work together to improve the Nigerian seed sector. And CSP is the pilot program under this partnership, and CSP also takes that idea of the Nigerian Netherlands Seed Partnership by bringing together Nigerian and Dutch seed sector stakeholders with the aim to enhance the performance of the Nigerian seed sector. So we are using a systemic approach, and we are working with the National Seed Roadmap, which is a policy document of the National Agricultural Seed Council. Seed Council had worked together with stakeholders to develop a roadmap of where which has a clear vision of where we want the seed sector of Nigeria to be, and how we identify strategic innovative pathways of how we are going to get to this vision. And these 22 topics, that's also known as the SIPs, is what CSP is working with. So we are providing support for 8 of those topics for us to then try to enhance that performance. Next slide, please. So here is the 22 topics. I just highlighted the topics that we are supporting on this innovative pathway. So topic 1, decentralization of seed quality assurance. We know, given the size of Nigeria, and also the amount of the different agroecological zones in the country, that it will be very good to have a decentralized seed quality assurance process. So we are supporting the National Agricultural Seed Council in this work. They've already started work on this before, so we're also supporting that. Sector governance and coordination, we need to see and improve sector governance coordination. So we're also supporting the National Agricultural Seed Council, which is one of the reasons why we are having this platform meeting, to have this where we can exchange ideas by all the actors in the seed sector, friends of the Nigeria seed sector coming together, sharing ideas on how we can improve the sector. So we also are supporting the extension of seed and cultivation practice, topic 5. Topic 6, we are working very closely with NASC on the plant variety protection, which is also at the core of our today's webinar. We're supporting seed companies on seed company marketing and promotion. We are working with the NAGRAB, National Agricultural Biotechnology team, to also improve the variety release. We are working on alignment of donor interventions and with institutional markets. Next slide. Next slide, please. So the snapshot of the program, what we want to achieve in terms of impact is we want to improve sustainable income, food and nutrition security for rural households. And how we want to do that is by improving the access and use of quality seed of improved varieties to sustainably increase the productivity. So we want to see an enhanced capacity of quality service provision by seed producers and other actors. We want to have better coordination. I want to also see enhanced rules and systems that govern the seed market generally. And there are areas of measuring our successes, which is to improve the productivity of small-scale food producers in Kaduna. We're using Kaduna as for most of our physical activities. We'll be working in Kaduna State, so we want to measure some of those successes there. We want to also see small-scale food producers who have increased the number of quality seed, and also the use of improved varieties. Next slide. So these are the major partners that we are working with. So like I had mentioned earlier, there is a Nigerian and Netherlands partners for each of the topics area we are supporting. We do have a leadership of a Nigerian team. We have a topic team responsible, and that topic team includes stakeholders from the Nigerian and Netherlands seed sector, and it's all usually led by a national research, a national institution that is responsible for that topic in Nigeria. So we have NASC leading the sector, seed sector platform meetings that we'll be having. Also plant variety protection on decentralization. We are working with SIDAN. SIDAN is also a private important player, and we're working with SIDAN in the seed company marketing and promotion. And on the Netherlands side, we see that we work a lot with the Wageningen Center for Development Innovation, with Planton, which is the equivalent of SIDAN in the Netherlands, and also the Embassy of the Netherlands. We work on the variety release. We are working strongly with NAGRAB and the National Agricultural Research Institute, and also NASC. Alignment of donor intervention and institutional market, Sahel Consulting, we are actually playing a major impact on this smaller project, but we are also working with key sector players in these topics, and also with on the Dutch side, the Wageningen Center for Development Innovation. Next slide. Yeah, so the seed sector platform, which is the platform we have Ojogo as the lead. He leads that topic for the collaborative seed program. We also have Maya Tyson. She will also at some point be involved in the discussions today. She also leads for the Dutch side. We have key players from SIDAN, from Planton, from Sahel Consulting, and also other stakeholders in this topic. Next slide. So in this platform, we've designed it, and we have 3 strategies that we identified as a way to ensure sustainability of this platform and to institutionalize it with NASC. So first of all, we will be developing a functional national seed platform. This will be done by establishing a platform secretariat at NASC. Also, there will be a core group, a platform core group that will be very important in coordinating all the activities of the platform. So the platform is this meeting area where we are going to have different stakeholders, actors, experts, friends of the Nigerian sector come together to develop proposals, exchange information and ideas on how to move the collaborative how to move the seed sector in Nigeria forward. We also will prioritize and conduct a study together. We all work together to identify an important area of national seed roadmap that we need to dig for that deep dive. So we'll engage in a study and try to disseminate the information, the findings from that study. We also plan to enhance the capacity of SIDAN as a very important key sector player. So we are going to encourage SIDAN, work with the leadership of SIDAN to improve their governance structure. Next slide. So yes, this is the structural and functions of how we've looked at the whole seed sector platform. We want to have a platform to have a minimum of 40 representatives, and luckily today we are over 82 here represented. So this platform is basically to share ideas. Involved in the platform meetings. They will have a core group which is going to be setting the agenda, making preparations to have an effective platform. Also involves a lot of stakeholders, and we are happy to say that NASC will be able to launch this core group by the leadership of NASC, and also we started establishing the secretariat by NASC, and they are responsible. The secretariat responsible for the management and support of the whole platform. Next slide. Okay, I think that ends my discussion. So now I will hand back to Ojogun. Like they said, we the small masquerade have to be faster so that the bigger masquerade can take the floor. So thank you, Ojogun. Thank you everyone for listening.
Overview of this collaborative seed program in a nutshell. Thank you very much. And just like you said, talked about the National Seed Sector Platform. Today obviously marks the day of the establishment, the launch, inauguration. And the person who is going to do this, who will anchor this, is the #1 person in the seed industry. He is the #1 regulator, and he coordinates the entire seed sector. He's no other person other than the Director General of the National Agricultural Seed Council, and the person of Dr. Philip Ojo, the man who has worked tirelessly to ensure that the Nigerian seed sector is delivering its gain. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome an icon in the Nigerian seed sector, in the person of Dr. Philip Olusegun Ojo, for his opening remarks and the inauguration of the National Seed Platform for Nigeria. DG, sir, you're welcome. Yes, DG, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Ojogu, I hope you are hearing me. Hello, Ojogu.
Yeah, Doc, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Let me respect the protocol that has been established. It is my pleasure to welcome all the participants to the first National Seed Platform meeting of seed sector coordination under the CSP. We are celebrating some milestone achievements after the launch of the CSP on the 28th of April 2021. The CSP brings together Nigeria and those seed sector stakeholders with the aim to enhance the performance of the Nigerian seed sector. The program is a contribution to the vision of the National Seed Roadmap put together to make the seed sector become more competitive, resilient, profitable, innovative, adaptive, and sustainable. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are establishing a seed platform where our stakeholders along the value chain will discuss the bottlenecks of the seed sector. We are charting strategic innovative pathways for addressing the challenges in achieving vibrant and resilient sector that will ensure sustainable access of quality seed banks. Over the year, various studies have shown that one of the major reasons for poor agricultural performance in Nigeria is lack of sustainable progress in improving the performance of available plant varieties. Despite numerous efforts to improve agricultural productivity, crop yields in Nigeria have remained one of the lowest in the sub-Saharan Africa. Improved varieties are a necessary and cost-effective means of improving productivity, seed quality, and marketability. The role of plant variety protection in responding to this challenge is to provide a legal framework and system that encourages plant breeding, leading to the development of superior plant varieties with high yield potentials, capable of withstanding conditions that are resulting from climate change and population growth. The NSSC has therefore continued to make efforts towards making Nigeria to attain the desired end in the seed industry. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen and other stakeholders, the webinar today is looking at innovative systems that will greatly enhance our crop variety development and its potential for agricultural transformation in Nigeria. The NSSC, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, has since 2017 commenced efforts toward introduction and enlargement of the bill of Nigeria. and subsequently, Nigerian members of the UCO to enable Nigeria to benefit from international trade. The PVP Act 2021, presented by Mr. President, has created a platform to support catalytic innovative approach to drive growing seeds and concerns policy system with particular emphasis on crop variety development. The PVP Act will pragmatically promote Nigerian participation in global seed trade and enhance our quality seed delivery capacity and capability while encouraging private sector participation in the seed sector. It is important, therefore, to know that Nigeria has joined the League of Nations with a legal framework for the protection of plant breeders to encourage increased investment in plant breeding, increase in the number of breeders and breeding entities, access to foreign trade in varieties, increased availability of more improved crop varieties with better yield potentials, high tolerance, high stress tolerance, and disease resistance with high input efficiency. Nigeria cannot continue to import what we can encourage our breeders to produce in country. Ladies and gentlemen, as members of the National Seed Platform, through your participation in this webinar, our hands must be on deck to collectively adopt systemic approach to foster competitive, resilient, profitable, innovative, and adaptive, sustainable, and inclusive transporting seed sector for Nigeria. We have the responsibility of working as a formidable team to tackle the complexity of the seed value chain for the overall benefit of all stakeholders. You will all agree with me that a viable and sustainable seed system is key for an improved and transformed agriculture sector, which is a catalyst for economic recovery and development. For any nation in search of true and sustainable agricultural development, the building blocks must be entrenched in a well-synchronized system. Therefore, I have the honor and privilege to officially inaugurate the establishment of the National Seed Platform, Nigeria, geared toward the transformation of the Nigerian seed sector in contributing to the nation's economic growth recovery plan of the federal government of Nigeria, using agriculture as the springboard. I want to thank you all and wish you very successful deliberations while I declare this program open. Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to you, Jogo.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, my DG. Thank you very much for your unwavering support to the transformation of the Nigeria platform for Nigeria has been officially launched and established, a platform where all relevant industry actors will come together to discuss and chart a way forward for the transformation of the Nigerian seed sector. I want to say congratulations to all of us in Nigeria and those in diaspora who have made interest in the development and transformation of Nigeria. Welcoming Dr. Folarin Okelola. He is a senior technical advisor to the Director General National Agricultural Plant Variety Protection Desk Officer, seed program. At this point in time, he's going to give us, depth, what we need to get out of the PVP for Nigerian agri transformation. Dr. Folarin Okelola, you are welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. And good morning, Nigerians. Good morning to my Director General, Dr. Philip Omishekojo, President of
Sorry, Folarin, sorry to interrupt. We don't hear you really well at all. Your connection is very poor. Is there any way you can improve the connection? Maybe speak closer to your device or move to a better internet area.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Okay, thank you. And once again, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning to the amiable DG, Dr. Philip Olusegun Ojo, the All Farmers Association President, Architect Kabiru Ibrahim, who is on this discussion today, and every distinguished Nigerian and stakeholders in the Nigerian agricultural sector. I have the privilege to present today the presentation titled PVP Act. I'll be running through in the next 20 minutes, and I enjoin everyone to follow keenly and at the end make meaningful contributions that can help further implement the PVP system in Nigeria. General greetings from the Seed Council, the agency of government saddled with the coordination of seed activities in Nigeria. I won't talk too much about the background of the PVP because a lot has been said about it, but I need to say everyone here knows that yield of agricultural produce in Nigeria today is amongst the lowest in sub-Saharan Africa. Suffice to say, our farmers still struggle with planting materials that give between 0.8 to 1.5 metric tons per hectare, and in the highest cases in rice, 2.534 metric tons per hectare. The effort of the introduction of plant variety protection is to change this story, varieties with good crop yield to farmers in Nigeria. The next slide, please. So what is the PVP Act about? Before we talk about the PVP Act, what itself is plant variety protection. In some areas, they call it plant breeders' right. Plant variety protection is a legal designation designed to protect plant breeders. It grants them an intellectual property right over their planting materials. You may ask me who is a plant breeder, and I tell you that by the definition of the PVP Act, we have three categories of people that call who is working to develop a variety over the years, or an employer of an institution that is engaged in plant breeding activities, or even a farmer that has worked over the years and has discovered a new variety that is distinct, uniform, and stable from all existing varieties known to common knowledge. Can we go to the next slide? So in a nutshell, plant variety protection is an intellectual property tool amongst others. When you take the intellectual property toolbox, what you can get in that toolbox includes things like patents, trade, geographical indication, and of course, the plant breeder's right. So simply put, plant variety protection is about granting intellectual property rights to plant breeders and developers of new, improved genetic materials to enable them recoup investments and continue to develop such new materials. Can we go to the next slide? So what are the objectives of the PVP Act? To promote increased staple crop productivity for smallholder farmers in Nigeria, encourage investment in plant breeding and crop variety development, promote increased mutual accountability in the seed sector, protect new varieties of plants, and like I said, this applies to a breeder, and in the case of Nigeria, any plant genera and species. Can we go to the next slide? The PVP office will be domiciled in the National Agri-Seed Council, and the office, when it fully begins operation, will grant breeders' rights, maintain a register and provide information on plant breeders' rights issued in Nigeria, facilitate transfer and licensing of plant breeders' rights, collaborate with local and international bodies whose functions relate to plant breeders' rights matters, and perform other functions as are necessary for the furtherance of the objective of the PVP Act. Let's move further, please. So today we are looking at potentials of the PVP law for great transformation. What should we expect when we fully commence implementation of the PVP law? First, let us focus on domestic breeding. Once the PVP law commences full implementation, what we expect to witness in the first few years is increase in number of crop varieties. Today, domestic breeding is popular for crops such as rice, maize, cassava, sorghum, cowpea, etc. But there's less attention on crops such as millet, ginger, pepper, tomatoes. For tomatoes and pepper, we import all the seeds that we cultivate. Cotton, our cotton seed industry has been moribund over the years because of challenge of cotton in the past and not having the right varieties that can surmount those challenges. Kenaf and a host of other crops have breeders focusing on them. The situation is going to change with the introduction of the PVP law as more private interests on these crops, which are of interest both for food and raw material needs, and of great importance to other nations, will start to drive investment in their development. Let's go to the next slide, please. Apart from this, the nation's seed system will witness an initial surge of protection of existing varieties. We have a lot of varieties that researchers have worked on. We call them materials of recent creation. And these materials will be pushed forward for protection because most protected materials will also have better coordination of its distribution and maintenance. Whereas domestic breeding before the PVP Act was focused on cereals and food crops, Nigeria will begin to witness breeding efforts on crops dominated by foreign breeding, particularly crop farmers, because of lack of forage. But when we develop our foraging seed industry, I can assure Nigerians that there will be better relationship and coordination amongst this group of people. This will bring about diversification and more choice for Nigerian farmers who can now grow different crops all year round, because the season for one crop is not the season for another. So they have options to cultivate as against the monocropping that they do today. Another important potential is the number of breeders and investment in breeding. Currently, the number of active breeders for maize, rice, sorghum, and soybean in Nigeria is 12, 9, 12, and 5 respectively, with other important crops having no breeder at all. The situation is going to change with the PVP law, as Nigeria in the next few years will begin to witness notable change and increase in the number of active breeders. This increase will be witnessed in various sectors such as private companies. Today, most private companies cannot employ breeders. We have a lot of breeders in universities that are just lecturing and not breeding. And in a lot of our government research institutions that have mandate for many crops, they hardly have breeders for such crops. But with the introduction of the PVP law, the domestic breeding of crops like tomato, pepper, garden egg, kernel will become more popular. With the PVP law, investment by government and private breeding companies is bound to increase. Can we go on, please? The structure of the breeding industry in Nigeria is going to change. Crop breeding space today is dominated by public research, few universities and private companies. With the introduction of the PVP law, many universities, research institutions who are before now not active will become motivated and interested in breeding. The same will be noticed for seed companies and domestic individual breeders who will show interest breeding for commercialization. Can we go on? Of course, there will be changes in breeding objectives. Today, breeding is just for yield, but with the PVP law, we'll see breeding objectives changing, and such things as high quality for cooking and processing, reliability for cultivation, diversification of use, e.g. diet, healthy food, and so on will take the stage. And the new structure of crop breeding will become more responsive to such new demands from the consumers. Let us go on, please. But let's sound a warning that we have challenges that must be removed for the potentials highlighted above to become reality. Next slide. Some of the major challenges today include general awareness for the PVP topic, which is still very low. The lack of
Folarin, you're muted.
The lack of proper understanding, the lack of proper understanding of the PVP topic among others, including breeders themselves, seed companies, the general public, the policymakers, the media men, and the press, and the lack of clear understanding on the relationship and the linkage of PVP and GMO. Next slide, please. The challenge of human capacity and institutional / infrastructural capacity for PVP is also there. The technical capacity to manage the PVP system is lacking. Facilities to handle and conduct DUS tests and other aspects are still lacking. Necessary tools to support implementations of the law are not in place. The lack of capacity to carry out effective licensing, including management and collection of royalty. The capacity to enforce the law is limiting, and institutional IP policies are either absent nor not even present. Next slide, please. Can we move faster, James, so that I can meet my time? Of course, we need to talk about the challenge of stability. From when we started this journey till now, we have different ministers, permanent secretaries, many champions that have either retired or moved to other portfolios. So at every point, we need to start securing fresh buy-in. And when you think you have secured understanding, then there is a change again. So this is also a challenge. Next slide, please, for Nigeria. The negative campaign from the opposition and the anti-PVP group need to be brought to the fore here. They have perpetuated a long of wrong myths that must be corrected. The next slide. So how have we managed these challenges? Let's go to management of the challenges and the way forward. In the NASC, our theory of change are that the components part of a formidable problem can only be resolved by programmatic work involving dedicated and committed partnership with all actors leveraging on their skilled personnel to introduce changes which will transform not only the system but the entire agricultural space. Next slide. Next slide, please. Are you there? I'll speak from my end. I hope I'm still being heard. So we
Dr.
are
Foran,
working
yes,
on
we hear
creation
you.
of
There is just a
awareness and
momentary delay between
sensitization.
each slide.
So we are working on creation of awareness and sensitization. Can we move to the next slide? Against the negative campaigns of PVP, we are proposing to generate consistently and syndicate to major dailies articles highlighting the benefit and importance of the PVP. To also prepare a strong legal team to defend the PVP law when issues of cases, a case that have been instituted is slated for hearing, and plan capacity sessions for members of every key stakeholder group in Nigeria, including the judiciary, to educate them on the PVP topic, which is quite new for a lot of actors in the country. Next slide. We have and will continue to use evidence-based and verifiable facts to develop and share information on the PVP addressing different issues so as to ensure we erase the myth already spread by the anti-PVP. The next slide. I will begin to answer some of the questions that I've started to see in the chat box as I conclude this presentation. James, let's go to the next slide, please. The lies are aggressively propagated so as to stop us from getting our seed issues right. And for us in Nigeria, we are determined to get our seed issues right. We don't want to remain rather develop our own high quality seeds which we can produce if there is. We don't want to continue to lose our benefits, which are then returned and sold to us as premium. Most of the seeds we plant today are produced in areas with the same weather conditions as us, and they are shipped to us as a premium product to buy from. The next slide as I round up, please. So having a PVP law will not stop free exchange of seeds by our farmers. Farmers will continue to use their existing seeds, which are not eligible to be protected under the PVP law because they do not meet the criteria for novelty. They are not new. The PVP law will not privatize seed use, but encourage private sector participation in the seed sector through active collaboration amongst institutions. It will lead to increased investment, research and development, thereby leading to innovative breeding technologies and development of improved and high quality seeds. These new varieties will be made available as an additional choice to the seed class that we have today for willing farmers to buy and use. Next slide. Next slide, please. We are telling our people, using every opportunity, that the new class of seed that we introduce are different from the previously existing seed class, such as the land races, the farm safe seeds, and the certified seeds, which after introduction of the PVP law will continue to exist and remain for farmers to choose from. It is not true that adherence to the PVP system makes it a crime to save seeds by our farmers. And those misinforming our people should come forward with a list of farmers and which country practicing PVP where they are serving prison terms or paying fines for saving seeds. Next slide. Next slide, please. Our Seed Act and even the PVP Act permit saving of seeds for own use, but not for commercial purpose. Can you go to the next slide, James? So we have commenced series of capacity development. Can you move forward to generate a pool of PVP champions in Nigeria? We are building human capacity. Can you move forward? Can you move forward, please? So we are building human capacity. We are also working to develop infrastructural systems, pushing for the support of building a PVP office, scouting and identification of institutions that can conduct DUS. For us, partnership and collaboration is what has led us to where we are today in Nigeria. We are convinced that it will still lead us to having a PVP system that will transform the life of our farmers for a better agri transformation in Nigeria. The PVP Act is a window to exploit and benefit from trade of seeds beyond our shores and benefit fully from the AFCTA and other global seed market opportunities as a country. For these reasons, I am grateful for today's opportunity to discuss the PVP Act on the National Seed Sector Platform. This opportunity means more PVP champions that are well informed to support transforming the potentials of today to the reality of tomorrow. I thank you very much for listening.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Folarin, for that detailed presentation. And the presentation has answered most of the questions that have been asked in the chat box. Without really wasting much time, we would move on to the panel discussion. Some questions, again, will be addressed during this panel discussion. I will be inviting to moderate the panel discussion, Dr. Maya Tyson, who is the coordinator of the Collaborative Seed Program and is also the topic lead for seed sector governance and coordination. She is also the seed system advisor for Wageningen University and Research. So ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I will be inviting her, who will be moderating the session. And we have a list of panelists in the house. Architect Ibrahim, the president of All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Professor Chidozie Gessi, the president of the Nigerian Plant Breeders Association, Dr. Hadiza Yaro, the business development manager, ISWAS. And we also have Mr. Raul Hedgens, the manager of Nachimbo, the Netherlands. All of them will be working together with Dr. Maya Tyson for this session. Maya, over to you.
Thank you very much.
Maya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, thank you very much. So thank you very much, Oyogu, for introducing me and for introducing the panelists.
So also...
And welcome to all the panelists. Thank you for your willingness to contribute to this session on this very important topic of the PVP Act. I have a number of questions for you. Also interesting questions appeared in the chat, and I'll try to integrate this somehow into the discussion. So the first questions that I have are for Alhaji Ibrahim, who is the president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria. So Alhaji Ibrahim, please unmute yourself to be able to respond to the question. So we have heard a lot about the benefits of PVP, and also Dr. Folarin talked about the benefits. But as a president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria and being a farmer yourself also, how do you see that farmers can benefit from the introduction of plant variety protection?
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Maya, the DG, Dr. Folarin, and a host of others. This is a win-win situation for the farmers in Nigeria. It affects our yield. We are poor because we have very low yields. The PVP is a gateway to higher yields, and there will be investments from all we have heard about the potential of a PVP bill from the breeders themselves, from government, from the private sector. We understand that there are some anti-voices, but we are not deterred. Anything that will take Nigeria to food security is a very welcome development. We were there right from the beginning. We supported every action towards the assenting of this bill, of the act now by Mr. President. And we feel that along with the SEED Act, the ARCN Act, and all the windows of investment from the CBN, from NALDA, from everywhere, Nigeria is going to get to the promised land. The farmers are in the majority in this country. We are very poor today because we have very low yield. The PVP is an opportunity to optimize our yield, along with many other things that we must do. But it is sine qua non to everything because it is the beginning. It's where to begin. Mechanization and all that will all help, will coalesce to make life better for Nigerians. So we see a lot of promise, and we embrace it 100%. So in doing that, we have been talking to our farmers, disseminating information, discouraging them from just planting grains instead of seeds. But definitely, there is a lot of talk about people recycling their seeds, saving their seeds and all that. But over the years, the bane of production in Nigeria is low yield. So whatever contributions these saved seeds may have done is not enough. So the clear embracing of the PVP bill will give us the difference that we desire to make us food sufficient. So we welcome it and support it 100%. As we talk now, I'm sure farmers are listening, and we are enthusiastic that it would change the way of doing things. We will instead become rich people. We will go to the farms on our helicopters and in our vehicles. So this is the much that I will say. 100% we support the PVP. We see the opportunities there. We are working with everyone in this platform to be able to get to the promised land. So I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Alhaji Ibrahim. It is clear the Farmers Association, speaking on behalf of many Nigerian farmers, embraces PVP as a tool to increase access to new high-yielding varieties and quality seeds. Thank you very much. Then I have a question to Dr. Folarin related to that, because you also mentioned it, Alhaji Ibrahim, and Folarin mentioned it in his presentation also. There is some concerns from a number of organizations and also farmers who may depend on farmer-safe seeds. And Folarin, you mentioned that farmers are still allowed to save their own seeds, but can they also exchange seeds with other farmers? And what about if varieties are protected by PVP, can farmers still save their seed and exchange seed amongst themselves? So Dr. Verleijen, please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Maya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, with the PVP law in place, we need to get clear that seeds of varieties that are not protected, the farmers can still use it on his own farm. He can still exchange, he can still use those seeds as per the provision of the existing Seed Act. But for protected varieties, the farmers, by the provision of the Act, can save seeds for his own use on his own holding. But anything aside from that, once it has to do with commercial exchange for profit, the farmer to do that. So the farmers are exempted. They can use those seeds on their own holding, but they cannot commercialize it. They will have to seek the permission of the right holder. So the PVP Act not stop farmer use of protected variety on their own or in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Verleijen, for this clarification, because I think this is a worry for quite some organizations and farmers, that farmers cannot save their own seed again. So for, even if a variety is protected, farmers can save seeds for their own use. So thank you for that. I would like now to move to our next panelist, which is Professor Egezi, who's the president of the Plant Breeders Association of Nigeria. And I have actually the same question as I had for Alhaji Ibrahim. So how does the Protection of Plant Varieties Act benefit Nigerian breeders? How do you see that as the president of the Plant Breeders Association? Please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Maya. And let me observe all due protocols. Thank you and congratulations to the Nigerian Agri Seed Council for the efforts and the achievements that they've made, especially in the agri sector, working seriously on the seed sector. What's the benefit of the Plant Variety Protection Act, you ask, for the Nigerian plant breeder? I must say is a new dawn for the plant breeders. Is a new dawn, is a new thing that has happened. And let me also allay the fears. Plant breeders are not only those people who have gone to school and studied crop science, plant breeding specialization, but even this act considers farmers, like Dr. Folari mentioned in his presentation, and somebody asked a question, do you mean if a farmer is able to have a new variety that is new, distinct, uniform, and stable, that qualifies? And the answer is yes. So it's not only the Nigerian plant breeder that is trained in formal education that is going to benefit. Even a farmer who steps up to the game and says, I have this variety selected over time and is new and it qualifies, then the benefit goes to that farmer too. So this is important for us because the hard work of our plant breeders can be rewarded now. Plant breeders have not been, motivated or incentivized in the past years like their contemporaries in other parts of the world. And I don't want to say in Europe or in US, in Ghana, in South Africa, in Egypt, plant breeders are beginning to benefit from this, and Nigeria should not be left behind. Because the benefit of that, when you have a motivated professional, you have a motivated worker, the kind of things that begin to come out, begin to create new varieties. There's this rice stimulus to create better varieties, and this has never happened before. So the Nigerian plant breeders are extremely excited and are very grateful to all the stakeholders who have contributed to make the PVP Act in Nigeria a reality. And we are really committed, the association, the Nigerian Plant Breeders Association, are really committed to supporting the implementation of this, because it is our thing. We are, the joy that we have is that we have the ownership. It is our act, and it is not just for our personal gain. It is also to make the farmer or to make agriculture a business. We are looking for employment for people. Young people get out of school, no employment. And you ask, where are the crops? Dr. Fulari mentioned some of the crops that are popular. Even those crops are not yet even commercialized to the right degree, even the ones you said are popular. So whether they are popular or they are vegetables or tomatoes that are not receiving the right support, or this is game changing for us. And we think that we could not have had it at a better time than now. So I'll cut it there. Thank you for having me here, or having us here. That's the Nigerian Plant Breeders Association, and all the plant breeders in Nigeria are represented, and giving their support to this act and its implementation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Egezi. I see there are a lot of questions specifically for breeders and on the act, and one of them is also like how. And you mentioned also crops that didn't see yet much professional breeding efforts yet, but maybe farmers have invested a lot in the past. So how do you prevent biopiracy so that plant breeders may claim the inventions that have been done by farmers? So can you give some reflection on that? It's a question from the chat.
Right. It's not going to be an easy walk. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be an easy walk, but it's something that once we have the willingness, we'll begin to work on it. Nigeria has a Seed Act, which is different from this, which provides for regulation of how seeds are managed and grown for commercial use. There's a difference between and I think we need to get that understanding. Towards the closing remarks of Dr. Fulari, he mentioned how the farmers can use it and for their own benefit and save it even in their farm differently from when you begin to actively put it out for commercial use. And we want to see this happen. But biopiracy is something that is still there, and the laws are there to help make that happen. But I know that if you're not practicing, if you're not implementing it, then you don't even have anything to say about it. So when we begin to implement it, we will begin to see all the different shades and all the different gaps that are existing. But right now, I think it is good time that we begin to implement it. We begin to regulate it the way the Seed Act is being implemented in Nigeria. With that, we will see where we may need to even go for a review at the National Assembly if need be. But if we don't start, we won't see all those gaps the way they are. But I think it's a good thing that has happened to Nigerian farmers because we have access to the best seeds right now. And the market, there's a free trade AFCTA that Nigeria signed up to. Most African countries have. So we have a big field to play in. So if we begin to play in that field, then biopiracy will take the back seat because you're already in the international market. That is happening in West Africa for some of the grain crops, and we are hoping that it happen for other crops like the vegetables or the vegetatively propagated crops like root and tuber. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Egezi, for your reflection on this issue. I think I see in the chat not everybody is completely convinced yet, and a lot of discussion is probably still needed around this topic. But I would like to move now to our next panelist. Dr. Hadiza Yaro, who's working as a business development manager at East West Seed International. Welcome, Dr. Hadiza. So can you please explain to us how can plant variety protection improve the profitability of seed business and at the same time increase the quality of seed which is in circulation in the seed system?
Okay, thank you, Maya. Good day all. I also stand on the existing protocol in order not to waste so much time. Thank you for the question. Just a minute. 1 minute.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm in the airport. So thank you for the question, Maya. Your question is. Okay, sorry about that. So to answer the question you've asked about profitability to seed companies and how it can translate into increase in the quality of seeds in circulation, the PVP provides breeders, researchers, industries with new platform to operate in Nigeria. And having the PVP Act in place, it provides incentives for needed investment by companies. You might wonder, a lot of companies are not doing a lot of local production in the country because such.
This call is for the following passengers. Abubakar Nazir.
Okay, sorry about that again. So,
Renoir Nadia, Mrs. Please contact Ari checking counter, please. Thank you.
Okay, so back to what I was saying, most seed companies wouldn't want to have local investment because the seeds are not insured. There is no law protecting some of the local activities they will be doing in the country. Then breeding, like we know, has to do with a lot of investment. Then one might wonder, if you invest X amount of Naira a long term, how do you recoup that? What in an event, maybe somebody picks up these varieties and you're unable to have a hold of it. So with the plant variety protection in place, most seed companies are able to see long term. You might not be able to recoup the investment over a very short period, because once you have an investment, it means you have used efforts, you have used resources, you also have used your time in such a breeding work. So with this in place, I see a lot of seed companies doing a lot of local production, and it will be beneficial to us as a people because one, it creates job opportunities to people locally. The seed industry is able to spring up very fast. Like we all know, most of the cereal crops and field crops is where we have expertise. Like Prof has mentioned earlier, what about the vegetable? Most of the vegetable seeds we bring into the country are imported. But with the plant variety protection law, I see a lot of companies beginning to, of course, think about investing locally. And then where we have these seed laws in place, we're able to have quality seeds because now it becomes an investment where you're looking at long-term, you should be able to reap. It benefits the farmers because the seeds will also be cheaper because it's locally produced, that is one. And then the farmers are able to have access to quality seeds. And what does it translate into? If we have quality seeds, it gives higher yield. If the farmers are able to achieve higher yields, what does it again translate to? It leads into high income. Most of these farmers will have high income. Then the plant variety protection is now seen as an integral part of the seed development sector in the nation in order to ensure food security, nutrition, and also provide good income to farmers because they have access to quality seeds. And then again, the quality and diversity of food to consumers is then again enhanced. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hadiza, for your elaborate answer to this question, where you say it will increase business opportunities also, and will increase investment in breeding, finally benefiting farmers. I would like to move now to Raoul Hagens, our next panelist, who works at NACTAMBO in the Netherlands. And NACTAMBO is supporting governments around the world in the implementation of PVP systems and does capacity development of countries on PVP systems. And I would like to ask Raoul, what do you see as a precondition for the successful implementation of a functional PVP system in Nigeria?
Thank you, Maya, for your question, and thank you that I was invited to this webinar, this meeting. I think before I start to answer your question, I would like to emphasize that in my opinion, it will give farmers a choice in this additional system with plant variety protection, but also with the implementation of other seed regulations. So the farmer will have a choice in future. They can use quality seeds of sometimes protected varieties or sometimes not protected varieties. And they can have a better choice in crops and additional varieties, or they just use their own varieties or other varieties that are non-protected, and they multiply it on their farms or they buy it from the neighbors. So both systems, that's the option that you will get with the introduction of this system. So what are the preconditions for successful implementation? In my opinion, is first that the PVP law should be fully accepted and implemented. You're already busy, and it's very important to the establishment of the PVP office. Information should be available to everyone. Once that PVP office is active, you should organize the possibility to take over reports from other countries and set up your own testing facilities in the country for the important crops you have. The secondary legislation should be clear so that the regulations are clear to everyone. And then I think speed and trust is the most important thing. So the Plant Variety Protection Office should give clear information, quick information, and make the decision in a reasonable time. So not after 4 or 5 years, that's a too long period. Of course, then we need information about plant variety protection to breeders and farmers. And at the end, if the whole system works, the possibility for breeders to enforce their rights to the professional farmers. So the breeders will not be interested to enforce any rights to small farmers or subsistence farmers. As far as I'm concerned, that's normally not a question at all, because there is no interest with breeders to enforce rights to people who are not really professionally growing crop or trying to sell material in the international market or whatever. So that's my answer to your first question, Maya.
Okay, thank you very much, Raoul, for answering this question, also emphasizing that farmers do have a choice and can still choose to do it their own way, save their own seeds of non-food protected varieties also. And then for sharing your experiences in other countries, which you translated into some preconditions. This shows that still quite some work needs to be done, and that this PVP Act is only the first step. But now a system needs to be implemented. And you mentioned that the regulations need to be clear to all. And that is also highlighted in the chat, that people say the regulation needs to be clear to all. What does it exactly mean? So do you have an advice, Raoul, for the Nigerian government or the Nigerian stakeholders towards the successful implementation of the PVP system? What would be your key advice next to the preconditions that you indicated already?
I think in Nigeria, a good start is made by the PVP office. And then, of course, the further implementation and explanation of law and regulations, that's the start now. And then I think we have to ask the private sector, especially in Nigeria, to start to apply for plant variety protection. So just send in your applications to the government, and then to the government and the breeders together to inform farmers what's the situation, and for breeders especially, to also give information and advice to the farmers. If you sell good quality material, the farmers need to know how to grow it. So they need to know what is good agricultural practices in your situation. And for me, therefore, it's very important that breeders with knowledge of the local situation are involved. So that's about the implementation, I think.
Okay, thank you very much for this final advice, Raoul. I know there are so many more questions in the chat, but we are also a bit constrained in time. So that's why I would like to go back to Dr. Folaren again, who is our key speaker of today. And yeah, I have one more question for Folaren. Can you please explain to us shortly the steps towards the implementation of a functional PVP system? So what are we going to do now we have this act?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Now that we have this act, we have to also develop regulations to implement the act. Just last week, we had a meeting to review and validate the draft regulations for PVP implementation in Nigeria. We are still working further on that. We are pushing it to the Ministry of Justice for their own input, and of course we'll still subject it to other stakeholder consideration. The PVP office also is being developed. We are putting in place every tool and machinery to ensure that the office functions. The PVP website will go up anytime from now. The various PVP handles to generate awareness, get feedback. The portal for application and registration will go up. We are also trying to ensure that we join the harmonized system of UPOV so that we can benefit from existing systems in the other parts of the world. So we are going to do everything to make sure that Nigeria's membership of UPOV is finalized. And once we do this, we can, commence full implementation. But as I speak to you, we have also started building capacity. We are sending most of our staff to audit various courses that better inform them on the PVP management and, evaluation of rights, documents submitted, accepting application, considering them. All these are efforts that are currently ongoing, and those are the things that the CSP will also be supporting us to do. So I think those are the things that are being done for now, and we'll continue to work on them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Folaren, for explaining us the step on how to move forward. I would like to give you the floor again, Dr. Folaren, because looking at, we have seen your presentation, we have seen a lot of questions in the chat, we have heard the reflections of the panelists. Do you have some final reflections? Maybe you saw some interesting, intriguing questions in the chat, and then you say, well, this is something that needs to be clarified, or this is something that we need to take on board. Can you give us some final reflections?
Yeah, thank you very much, Maya. And let me appreciate Nigerians for their passion. Nigerians are passionate for whatever we believe in. And we see a lot of people saying, yes, this is not good for Nigeria, and some saying this is good for Nigeria. I think our reflection is that we should put first and foremost, the passion and the fact that we are doing this for posterity at the forefront, knowing fully well that plant variety protection is just about IP protection. if you are a producer of improved variety, whether a conventionally developed material, whether it is a non-conventionally developed material, that is when you talk about GM and non-GM, there are laws in Nigeria that allows you to deal in the business of seeds. That you protect a material does not automatically mean that material is going to the hands of farmers. Protection is just like I have something that is unique, is distinct, is new, and is uniform. I have spent money, I've invested time in this. I am a farmer. I'm a community in Ofada. We have our own rights. We want to protect it so that it is not taken outside of Nigeria and exploited by other people without benefiting us. We have our oil palm. We have our cocoa. We have our ginger. These are the things we have brought about protection for. Let us protect it, and anybody that will exploit it, take permissions from Nigerians that own the right. We should look at Nigeria before even looking at the fact that some people are going to import this or import that to us. Let us look at the fact that a lot have left Nigeria before now because we don't have protection. Those things are coming back to us and we are paying hugely for them. So the issue of protection is simply an IP issue. If you have produced a music, you have produced a movie, you have written a book, you protect it so that nobody will exploit your work without you that have spent your time to do it gaining the benefit. That is simply what plant variety protection is all about. So people should stop deceiving Nigerians and telling them it will stop farmers from doing this. Before even talking about going to the trade, let us look at what we need to do that GM materials are not imposed on people. The Seed Act is simple. You cannot impose any seed on Nigerians. You must follow the seed rules. So there are seed rules, there are seed regulations, there are the Biosafety Act, there are other laws of Nigeria. There's the laws of Standard Organization of Nigeria, laws of NAFDAC, variety release, all these that deals one way or the other with trade of seeds in Nigeria. So let us stop, bringing PVP to equate them to all these things. Let us look at what PVP is simply for, and let us just support protection of materials in Nigeria so that Nigerians can benefit from what God has blessed us with. I think this is my concluding remark. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Folare, and also for this very passionate concluding remark. And with this, I would like to thank all panelists for their clarification on the different angles of what PVP all implies. And Oyogu, I go back to you. I hand over to you right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Maya. Thank you, panelists. It was wonderful, really amazing. The people I want to thank most are Nigerians who are passionate, very interested in the development of the agricultural space and national development for Nigeria. It clearly shows our passion, and it clearly shows that we are interested and we want to buy into this. That's why we are asking the questions we are asking. So thank you very much, Professor Gessi, the president of Nigerian Plant Breeders Association. Thank you, Dr. Hadiza. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Dr. Folare Nokolela, for your passion. I want to also thank Maya. And above all, I want to thank my DG, Dr. Philip Olusegun Ojo. I want to also thank our board member and the chair, the president of Nigerian Farmers Association. And I want to thank Nigerians for your passion and interest. The truth of the matter is it has come to stay. It has come that all of us are going to benefit from it. It's good that we want to understand more about it. Thank you once again. Now, the platform has been established. Just be available. We'll be having series of interactions like this. I want you to understand that automatically you're a member of the National Seed Platform for Nigeria. So at any point in time, we'll get in touch with you. We'll discuss burning issues like this, and then to see how we chat a way forward. And let me not forget to remind you that come 30th of November, we will be gathering physically to talk about seed sector issues, spanning from Nigeria to the globe. It's an African event. It's a national and international event. It will be happening live. Make sure you see the flyer so that you register. The venue, it's the NAV Conference Center in Abuja. So for those who want to fly in, you can fly in. The registration link will be put out there. And I also let you know that there is a national platform page on Facebook. Some information will be dished out there. The PVP, it's also creating a platform, for interaction so that we see how we move forward. Once again, thank you very much for this wonderful meeting. I want to thank James, who has been at the back end, ensuring everything is moving on well. I want to congratulate the entire team. I congratulate the Nigerian stakeholders. Thank you, CSP. Thank you, National Agricultural Seed Council. Thank you, the board. Thank you, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Thank you, Maya and her team. And I want to say the meeting at this point in time is coming to an end. But remember, these proceedings will be on the CSP website. Just type CSP Nigeria. You be logged into the website. You get a whole lot of materials, and then you interact, and we see how we move forward with the Nigerian seed sector. Once again, thank you and congratulations to all. So at this point in time, the meeting will come to an end, but the interactions will continue. All of your questions that have been asked, obviously, will be attended to, and make sure you visit this website, the Collaborative Seed Program website, and you can still watch this meeting. God bless you. God take Nigerian seed forward, seed sector forward, and God bless our Nigerian farmers. Our informations are there. If there's anything you need to get at us, you can email us. You can also interact with us through the website. Once again, bye-bye, and have a blessed day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.